GS rolled out a handful of new badges this year, and one of them is Shapes in Nature. So I am at my local nature center, and I'm going to help you navigate those badge requirements and also give you a ton of fun activity ideas so that you can rock your Shapes in Nature meeting. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not sponsored by any Scout organization. All the content you see in my videos are my personal interpretation of badge requirements and the Scout programs. I still highly suggest you do your own research and do what you think is best for your Scouts. In the meantime, Rachel Scouts It Out is a new channel. Please subscribe to my channel so that I can keep on giving you ideas and tips to make your Scout meeting successful. And also, please feel free to share my videos on Facebook and with other leaders. I am so excited to be out here today. I am one of those leaders that would much rather be outside having some awesome nature adventures than inside programming. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful out here today, and it kind of looks like I have a green screen going on. Nope, it's just nature. Come on, let's go. So for this video, I am breaking down the Shapes in Nature badge for daisies. To earn this badge, Scouts will have to learn about nature and the shapes and patterns that are found throughout the living world. They'll create a tally chart to document the shapes that they find and go on a scavenger hunt. Daisies will then have to create a pattern out of natural objects, discuss what other things might have patterns such as animals or music, and then create something that has a pattern they can touch. For those with brownies, this badge track starts off the same, but then kind of goes in a little bit of a different direction, with Scouts learning about graphs, symmetry, tessellations, and birds. For the sake of time, I will only be discussing the daisy requirements in this video. However, I hope to bring you an additional video with the brownie requirements soon. So let's get started. When you start off your meeting, you'll want to start with the basics. Explain the difference between man-made and natural objects. Talk about what kind of natural objects you might see on a walk, in the woods, etc. Shortly discuss how the living world is full of beautiful shapes and patterns. For this portion, GS does suggest that you show your Scouts a video on shapes in nature. However, I'm not really sure how that is done outside with a large group, so I think grabbing a few books from your local library would do just fine. Once your Scouts have a good understanding of what they're going to be looking for on their scavenger hunt, it's time to get that tally chart ready. GS provides a really nice tally chart for you on the BTK, just print and pass it out. However, if you are looking for something a little bit more handmade, you can create this easy tally chart foldable with just paper, a pencil, and scissors. This is what GS actually prefers the brownies used for this badge. GS also provides step-by-step instructions on how to make it, which is awesome. Once your Scouts have completed their tally chart, they're all set to go on that scavenger hunt. It's also the perfect opportunity to review Leave No Trace. Just make sure your Scouts know how to respect nature before they head out. Let's talk about Leave No Trace just for a second. The Leave No Trace principles are pretty simple, but they're just one of those things that young children need to be reminded of. Sticking to trails as not to wear out or trample vegetation. Leave what you find, so definitely no picking off flowers or trees. Being considerate of others who are visiting that area, and no scaring of wildlife. Again, super simple principles, but you know, when those Scouts get into groups and they're having a lot of fun, they can easily be forgotten. If you would like a little bit more information on Leave No Trace, check out the link in my description box. I just found this super awesome mushroom, and I think it's going to be the perfect thing to put on our tally chart. Let's check it out. At the beginning of your scavenger hunt, you'll want to take out some time just looking for those basic shapes. Circles, ovals, rectangles, triangles, heart shapes, teardrops. Can your Scouts find a spiral? How about a fractal? Symmetry is also a super fun thing to look for in nature. Enjoy your time looking for shapes and patterns, and make sure you fill up that tally chart. Then it's time to have your Scouts lay out some natural objects to create their own unique pattern. This can be done with long and short sticks, just leaves, acorns, really whatever. It's going to be different depending on your location. Since we're all finished here, let's head back and check out some of those fun crafts. Before you go ahead and start that fun activity, you'll want to discuss your findings and what you discovered based on your tally chart. GS also wants you to talk about the different patterns that can be found in animals and music. I think this can be a quick conversation while the scouts are like coloring or doing some other easy worksheets. Perhaps adding in some like clapping or stomping exercises where your scouts repeat your clap or stomp pattern would be fun too. There is a lot going on in this meeting already, so again, like keeping this kind of a quick review, a very light conversation, I think would be ideal. Now for the super fun part, creating a pattern you can touch. I really wanted to find the best craft for this activity, so I tried out a handful of them, and I am so glad that I did. Not all of them were winners. Some were definitely more fitting for this activity than others, and some were just like not as great as I pictured them to be. So first, I thought that rock painting would be really fun. I made a really cute hedgehog, owl, and ladybug. I added the embellishments with Puffy Paint. While you could feel the pattern, I just thought that there was still a more exciting craft out there for this badge, so I'm going to save rock painting for another time. I saw quite a few posts regarding salt painting for shapes in nature, so I tried that out too a couple of times actually, and I am without a doubt just skipping this one. I don't think I'll ever do this activity with my scouts. You really have to wait for the glue to dry before painting, otherwise you're just kind of pushing around the salt, and if you use too much water, your paper becomes this big wet mess. Regulating how watery your scouts' water paints are would just be nearly impossible. I finally tried using a piece of like plasticky old shiny gift bag as paper to get it just right, and still the salt like easily crumbled off when I was done. So again, this was a total no for me. Next, I thought creating an animal print with stamps and Puffy Paint would be a great idea. I actually made my own stamps out of wooden cubes that I got from the dollar store and some hot glue. So I thought kids could learn how to make their own stamps while also coloring a fun printable and adding the pattern. I thought scouts would really enjoy this, but it was just kind of lackluster, and I tried a few other crafts that I liked way better. So here they are. Okay, so how cute is this owl? Paper weaving would be a super fun and cute idea for this badge. It's simple, but a great skill to learn. The key is to use textured paper to create that pattern that you can feel. And again, I am so in love with this little owl. I also thought that this would be one of those crafts that you could really make fit into your troop's unique journey. Perhaps you can make a bee, a dog, a flower. Really, you can kind of turn it into whatever you'd like. I also came back to the Puffy Paint idea and loved it too. I ended up just grabbing some cardboard and my DIY Puffy Paint mixture and just kind of went to town. Check out the description box for a link to the recipe I used. You can put the paint into squeeze bottles like the ones you might use for tie-dye, otherwise plastic baggies work fine too. Why not just let the scouts have some time to let their inner artist free and create whatever kind of pattern they like? And who doesn't like the feel of Puffy Paint when it dries? This is just colorful and fun and a craft that I think my scouts would totally love. If you'd like to create a piece of art that can hang around a bit longer, that's a little bit more sustainable, why not make a decorative hanging or even a cute like fall paper plate wreath with a pattern or ugly sweater craft? Again, this is one of those crafts that's super versatile and you can kind of make it your own. Now I've got one more activity, and for me this was the winner. It is cheap, it is simple, and it is mess free, and scouts will have plenty of other opportunities to create crafts with paint. So these tin foil leaf rubbings were just my absolute favorite activity for the Shapes in Nature badge. So I thought that this would definitely fit into an hour scout meeting. I absolutely loved how when you press down on the leaf, you can feel with your fingers the pattern that you are making. It was shiny, it was pretty. You can go ahead and overlap the leaves and create your own pattern. This was something I had never done before. I've never tried it with my scouts or even my kids. So yeah, I just thought that this was the winner. I loved it. I hope your scouts love it too. As I wrap up this video, don't forget to wrap up your meeting with a couple rounds of the song Make New Friends. It is a perfect example of how a song repeats itself in a pattern and is a super awesome way to close out your meetings. And as always, subscribe to my channel, that way you get the latest from Rachel Scouts It Out.